I wouldn't dream of challenging you.
Poor Scar has had a rough go of it. Think of all the crossover characters in all the Disney Pixar films. Yet, he's the only one that gets done this way. Ah well, that's what you get for being a villain. As I said, he's not the only one out there though. So I figured it might be worth taking a look at the entire history of Disney animation for the best and most hidden Disney crossover moments. Face it, even the Scar one took you a while, which is why even he's going to get a mention on this list. It's the least we can do for him, you guys. He literally got skinned by Hercules.
I'm an action figure!
Oh god, is that Nemo? You can get caught up in the magic of this crossover super easily. It takes the perfect pausing on just the right frame to see our favorite small fin clownfish pop up in this fishing net. Even when you know Nemo is there, it's nearly impossible to tell without slowing it down. Then you think about the implications here and things get a bit darker. Look, I love that Nemo makes an appearance in this severely underrated film, but he's also nearly caught in a net here. What would have happened if the mammoth didn't intervene? I don't care how you frame it, that is dark, Disney, that's super dark. You can't open up the entire video with Scar and then not show the entry early. That would be misleading. Honestly, you've likely noticed Scar in Hercules well before this video. The internet and the early days of Facebook sort of spoiled this one. Regardless, there's a bit more to the story, even if it implies a solemn fate for Scar. He's meant to be the Nemean lion, one of the creatures Hercules is tasked with defeating in his 12 tasks according to the myth. Look, I'm no expert on lion hierarchy and what makes a lion the best of the best. However, I'd say being the famous Nemean lion is a step up from being a failed king of a starving pride. So that's a silver lining for Scar then, right? Nah, you're right. It still sucks for him. There's actually a few references hidden in Tangled. Since the film doesn't get the attention it deserves, most fans don't know about a lot of them. For instance, when Flynn Rider and Rapunzel are here reading in the library, many books' front covers reference other Disney films. Now that one is cool, but I like this crossover a lot more. Rapunzel's room is a bit of a hoarder's nest, but you need to look closely to spot the important prop from an OG Disney film. See, there's the spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty, it's hiding in plain sight. You know, it's a good thing that it's out of Aurora's reach. She might be tempted to get herself cursed again. This crossover involves a lot of dogs, so keep your eyes peeled, okay? It's during the Twilight barking scene in 101 Dalmatians. As the canine chorus comes towards its crescendo, two doggos can be seen near the bottom of the screen. Those two outlines are clearly Lady and the Tramp, which can only mean two things. It means these two share a universe with the 101 Dalmatians, which is just incredible for starters. Second, it means that their love has lasted and they're still together. That's nice to know. Some happy endings are meant to last, even if their puppies are nowhere to be seen. That's only slightly concerning. Here I am singing along to For the First Time in Forever when I notice two characters that look oddly familiar. Really, it's the hair that you spot first. Even from the back, you know it's gotta be Rapunzel. What's odd is seeing Flynn Rider dressed up like this. He looks so royal and somehow even more handsome. Yeah, I didn't think that was possible. This is an excellent crossover. The fact Rapunzel and Flynn are invited and attending Elsa's coronation must mean something, right? I like to think that they're totally friends and still occasionally write to each other. After all, Anna, Rapunzel, Elsa, and even Flynn have all been through a lot. Let's start off this entry by taking a look at the image. Here you can clearly see Beast as a figurine stacked amongst the other animals in the Sultan's collection. In fact, you can make the argument that he sticks out like a sore thumb. How did we not notice him before this list? Well, take a look at the actual scene and its pacing. You gotta give props to the editor for this hidden moment. It's super apparent when you slow it down, but they go so quickly by the stack's base that you can barely see Beast in the crowd. Word to the wise, always slow down these kinds of scenes in Disney films. You'll be shocked at what you see. Sometimes I don't think a crossover is intentional. Animators work super hard to build out a scene and fill it with character. Giving background characters fluid movement and expression is going the extra mile. A lot of times, you just see blank faces for that exact reason. That's not the case in the chaotic wedding scene from The Little Mermaid, but there's a reason for that. See these two guys with the funky mustaches? You might recognize them as the King and Grand Duke from Cinderella. It's the same guys, wearing different colored outfits. Both these characters are used in the background, but given added expression. It was always for the background animators to do though, because they already had profiles on these two. See, this one is less of a crossover and more of a shortcut. King Triton's character design is iconic, and I'll never forget watching him enter his underwater palace after being announced to the cheers of his subjects. Being really into that scene is precisely what helped me notice these goofballs tucked in the corner. If you pause right as Triton sweeps over the crowd, you can clearly see Goofy and Mickey in the group. Now, other sites and blogs claim that Kermit is even tucked away in there. I don't see him, but maybe my eyes aren't as keen as yours. 'Cause I've been looking. I've only seen The Rescuers 2 times, maybe? Still, I went and checked out this movie for crossovers, and sure enough, there's a super heartwarming one during the song Someone's Waiting for You. You might not remember because you were asleep at this point, but there's a shot of the water glistening in the moonlight. Right there in the center is a doe and its white-tailed fawn. Yeah, that's Bambi and his mother. There's no doubt in my mind that it is both of them. It's an alternate reality where they're never separated. Please do not argue otherwise. Don't you take this happy moment away from me. I just really need this crossover to be true. The magic carpet never asked it to be created. He simply is. Wait, is the magic carpet a he? Regardless, the poor guy is now the de facto carpet in any Disney movie ever. To make matters worse, Aladdin gave it a personality, which means it's conscious of how these background characters treat it. When I see some little girl beating the crap out of the magic carpet during the opening credits of The Princess and the Frog, I get a little sad. Sure, it probably gets dusty, but watch how she handles our precious carpet. I don't care how you want to spin it. In my mind, that's torture. Free the carpet. Design a new background rug, Disney. I'm just going to say that Sebastian has monopolized the side character spot in The Little Mermaid. And now, everyone frequently forgets about poor Flounder. Sure, he's not in a lot of the movie, but he's a fish. What do you want him to do? Thank goodness he finally got an Easter egg moment in Moana. While Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is, singing, a school of fish swim by to transition to another background. One fish has those iconic stripes and shape that makes it unmistakable. That is Flounder. I'm not gonna lie, it put a smile on my face to see him in a movie again. I'd call Hunchback of Notre Dame a lot of things. The movie has spirit, I'll give it that. It doesn't shout rewatchable though, and it means many hardcore Disney fans even miss this crossover moment. At the midpoint of Out There by Quasimodo, the camera quickly sweeps over Paris's streets. It's an establishing shot to move the number into the second part where Quasimodo gets a bit out of the church. Now, most people notice that the magic carpet is being mistreated once again, but look near the bottom of the screen. Yep, that's another French protagonist, Belle, walking by, heading nowhere. I guess Disney didn't have many French characters to toss in there. The animals invite themselves to Professor Porter's camp and begin to go wild. Outside of Phil Collins' masterful music, this scene is probably one of the most memorable moments in all of Tarzan. What I think most people forget is this quick drum solo by Terk, who, by the way, is voiced by Rosie O'Donnell. You'll notice at this moment that this tea set looks super familiar. Sure, maybe it's just the same color scheme, but then you look at the one unstacked cup. It has a chip in it. Yep. Terk is beating the crap out of Miss Potts and Chip. Not cool. Not cool at all. More mistreatment of inanimate objects with consciousness here. What is up with that, Disney? Oaken's trading post has a lot going on, especially when you consider he runs that thing full time and manages the sauna. He's doing all of that and finding the time to carve Disney characters into wooden figurines. Everyone points out the Mickey Mouse figure available for sale. Still, they missed the even more hidden Mike Wazowski one right there. Now, I wanted to add a small theory to this entry. So we all know how Mike is banished and meets the abominable snowman deep in the tundra. What if Arendelle is his home turf and Oaken happens to see Mike Wazowski while he's visiting an old friend? Sure, it's a stretch, but it's nice to think that Mike still takes time to hang out with him. He did make snow cones after all. Come on. How is this remotely hidden? King Triton is quite literally the central figure of a parade float during the Mardi Gras scene. I mean, maybe if you forgot what he looks like, you'd miss it, but it doesn't even go by quickly. It's on the scene for quite a bit. It's a cool crossover moment and a brilliantly animated scene. However, I think that we can all agree it's the least hidden moment on this entire list. Maybe if you glance down for a moment, you miss it, or if you're super caught up in the story as a whole. It's just, he's a massive centerpiece on a parade float. How do you miss this one? On the upside, you probably knew about some of these already, but now it gives you a reason to go back and watch the movies. What crossover moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below and like and subscribe to keep track of all things ScreenRant. See ya!